Hey guys, what's up? It's Katie and I'm back with another Marvel Contest of Champions video. And today we are going to be going over all of the boss fights for this month's uncollected, or rather Cavalier, I should say, the Rise of X. So let's go ahead and get into it, shall we? Now, I do want to point out that I am running suicides during this, and I think next month when this is released, I may actually turn off suicides. Having suicides on for uncollected is fine because the fights aren't that long. In Cavalier difficulty, they're a little bit longer, and you're going to be throwing more specials. So I feel like for next month, I'm probably going to turn off suicides because I am kind of padding the champions in between fights with some pots and whatnot. So let's go ahead and get into it with the first boss, which is Warlock. Now, Warlock has enhanced armor up, enhanced shock, enhanced power drain, empowered immunity, and explosive personality. So bringing in an armor break champ here is key. Now, Captain Sparkles, she is great for this fight because once you build up those binary charges and she goes binary, basically all hell breaks loose. So she's good for this too because she can armor break. With this fight, it's always good to push Warlock in general to his special 2 over a special 1 if you can, and especially this one with the enhanced power drain and the enhanced shock, you're gonna want him to keep him at that special 2. Don't push him to his special 3. So the name of the game with Sparkles here is obviously to build up to your binary charges. So just kind of bait those out now. I am getting, of course, the infection charges, or not the infection charges, but the techno-organic charges on me leading up to an infection, and running suicides and getting that infection on you is never a good thing because you will degen. So kind of keep that in mind. Other great options for this are Venom. Venom is actually a really good Warlock counter because not only can you armor break him off of his heavy, but you won't get that infection charge once you launch your special 1. So we are now binary, we're indestructible, so now it doesn't matter if I eat this special 3 from Warlock or not. So I'm just trying to get him to throw this special 3 while I'm still indestructible, and he complies. So he throws it, and of course I'm gonna survive it because I am indestructible, but watch how much damage I take from this degen once this special is over. That degen is really ticking away at me. I'm losing health like crazy, but Sparkles in binary with the 5 Furies, she's pretty much unstoppable. So down Warlock goes, easy peasy. So now we're moving on to Medusa. Now Medusa is probably one of, if not the easiest boss that we will come across in this new Cavalier difficulty. Now Medusa has enhanced armor break, enhanced fury, aggressive, crumbling armor, and oscillate. So bringing in a nullifier is key here. Claire is great for this, especially if you keep her in the Curse of Plague, because she's gonna build up those clairvoyance charges really quickly because Medusa is poison immune and you can keep her power under control. And so just watch those specials. Now she doesn't have parry, so even if she auto blocks you, it's not going to be a big deal. You're not going to get stunned. But overall, any nullifier is going to help you out here a lot. Sorcerer Supreme would be another solid counter here, especially with that nullification aura that she has. But baiting out the special 1 for me for Medusa is always the go-to, since sometimes she can get me with that special 2, and that special 2, if she clips you with it, you're going to be stunned. But overall, Medusa is probably the easiest boss in this month's Cavalier difficulty, the Rise of X. So, but again, anyone who can nullify is good. Even Colossus, because he cannot be armor broken by her, is going to be a solid option for her as well. Just heavy up to your special 2, get your fury going. And, you know, Colossus, we all know comrade shreds. I don't know what just happened there. Dr. Voodoo would also be another solid option for this. Sim Supreme with the staggers, of course, it would work out tremendously here. So, you know, pretty much your typical mystics are going to work out here. Hood would actually be really well too. Hood was for a long time the Medusa Slayer with his stagger, preventing her from getting those furies. So, but overall, Medusa is not a hard boss. It seemed like at least going through this initially, especially if you look at some of the harder paths. Now, I only ran the easy paths on this initial completion, but going through here, the harder paths seem like maybe the paths leading up to the bosses are going to be more difficult. So now we're moving on to Scarlet Witch with crit resistance, enhanced crits, Pilfer regen, nullify countdown. So with nullify countdown, once she nullifies 7 buffs, she gets a power gain buff and footloose. So I brought in Cap Infinity War here because I figured I could handle the Pilfer regen if that would come to play. And also I could handle the Unstoppable with his kinetic charges. But oh, yeah, that doesn't work out so good for me here. I was kind of wondering why they did crit resistance with Scarlet Witch, because you really don't want to crit her in general, because that's going to trigger her abilities. So I should have brought in someone here who doesn't crit, like Guillotine 2099 would have been a solid option. Even Home Slice, Red Guardian, I should have brought him in here too, because he could have handled that Unstoppable. So I brought in Void here and just kind of decided to slow play it with Void, and that's kind of what you got to do here, because she will go Unstoppable with that Footloose after she throws a special. So you kind of need to be wary of that. It's caught me several times, so you definitely want to slow play her. Me, I'm more comfortable dodging her special 2 than her special 1. There's something about her special 1, I feel like it moves very slow across the screen. And it's caught me numerous times. If you've watched me on Twitch, you've seen that clip. But overall, like, any champion will really work here, but someone who doesn't crit is really going to be a solid option. So even Guardian could potentially do well in this fight. So you can see how long that Unstoppable actually lasts. She-Hulk would be another solid option here, so you don't really have to worry about that Unstoppable. That's why Red Guardian would be so well against this too, because you wouldn't have to worry about the Nullify countdown or the Pilfer regen. So I just decided to kind of slow play it here with Void. Void will work here, but you have to slow play it. You don't want to rush this fight if you're going to play with Void or any other champ for that matter who doesn't have a slow, because you're going to get wrecked by that Unstoppable. So kind of keep that in mind, but overall, not a hard champ. I was honestly surprised she didn't poison me all that much, but I guess kind of having that crit resistance in there helps prevent her from gaining abilities against you. So now we're on to the first new champion, and that is Professor X. And I love that enter the Mindscape into the initial fight screen with Professor X. I think that's really cool. Professor X has physical resistance, force of will, enhanced energy attacks, no use in hiding. So he's going to be more aggressive when you're under his mind control, and extra sensory. So with extra sensory, he gains an additional channeling charge per second for each bar of power you have. Now with Professor X, he does have that built-in falter mechanic. So you need to watch that, but you can see that little gray timer counting down, 7, 6, 5. That timer there that you see counting down, that's the falter timer. So then you'll see it'll say falter ready, boom, there's the falter. So you need to kind of watch that little falter timer. Also, when he's channeling, so when he's got that little purple aura thing going around him, that's a solid time to attack. So kind of keep that in mind as you're going up against Professor X. Watch that falter countdown and be wary. So when he goes falter ready, make sure you parry before you attack. Otherwise, he's gonna falter, you're gonna miss, and he could, well, wreck you. Now, Professor X here, he is kind of squishy, so that's gonna be beneficial to you. Now, he does, of course, have physical resistance and enhanced energy attacks. So if you have someone who can withstand energy attacks, or has a high energy resistance rather, Dr. Voodoo has one. Those are solid ones, and anyone who can counter the physical resistance is going to work out well. Honestly, your best bet with Professor X is to bring in a tech champion, because with the class advantage that tech has over mutant, it's gonna work out more in your favor. Of course, I got wrecked there. So I decided to bring in Guillotine 2099 here, and I sped this fight up for one main reason, and that reason is I didn't build Guillotine 2099 up, and let's face it, before she's built up, the fights are kind of slow. So that's why I fast forwarded a little bit, so you guys didn't have to sit here through this long fight, listen to me talk, or, you know, see another horrible Chevy pro tip, because Lord knows he gives terrible pro tips. But anyway, the visions are also really good against him. Keeping him kind of under power control is what you want. So, you know, Guillotine 29 here, that's the name of the game. That's what I was trying to do, launching those special ones to kind of keep his power under control. So, and I've messed up. I haven't been as aggressive with him as I should be when I'm channeling him, because I'm still trying to learn his animations. His whole dash back and falter is kind of trippy for me. I mean, I really like it, don't get me wrong, but it's pretty trippy, so it takes me a little while to adjust to it, and I'm sure it'll take most of you a little bit to adjust to it as well. Okay, so now we're moving on to magic with Prey on the Weak. So with Prey on the Weak, basically, she'll gain 5% of a bar of power for each time a buff is nullified, expires, or is removed. She's got unblockable specials. She has electric fluctuations, buffet, and special chaos inversion. So if you guys haven't faced special chaos inversion yet, basically your controls are reversed at from the start of her special to the end of her special. So kind of keep that in mind. Now we all know Blade is the magic killer, and this fight here is actually the only fight I used a revive on in this entire quest, and it's because I messed up, and you're gonna see it here right quick. But Blade, of course, we all know is a solid option for magic. He can handle that limbo with his danger sense. Also, I saw another summoner, right here is where I messed up. I honestly didn't think that hit would take her to a special 3, so revived Blade, and here we are. But I saw another summoner used a rank 5 Archangel and took magic down in 28 hits. So she didn't even proc one limbo there. So, you know, keep that in mind when you're trying to figure out who's the best option for this. So but again, Blade is probably the most solid bet for this fight. All right, so now we're moving on to the final boss, who is Apocalypse, and this guy's tanky. He's a beast. I'm not gonna lie, and he's got enhanced bleed, which he'll put on you off of his heavy, debilitate foresight. So with foresight, you get a passive fury if you intercept with a basic attack. Finish them, so Apocalypse is more likely to throw a special if you have a DOT on you. Blood in the Water, so with Blood in the Water, he gains a fury if you have a DOT on you. And Genetic Refinement, so every class is treated as a mutant, even if you're not. So trying to come in there with a tech is not going to work out for you, and this plays into Apocalypse's abilities. So if he hits into your block, he can stun you, so you kind of want to keep that in mind, because that happens to me a lot, which makes Emma really great for this fight because she can't be stunned in diamond form, because I probably would have been stunned a good bit more had I not brought in Emma with diamond form. And you don't want to get backed up against the wall with this guy because he's pretty much stun immune here, because of his little Apocalypse charges. I forget what they're called off the top of my head. So gotta keep that in mind. You're gonna be baiting out a lot of heavies. You're gonna be taking some chip damage. So you definitely wanna work on your intercept there. And I'm trying to get this special out of him. And something weird happens here. There you go. See? His little fire gun shot right over my head. I'm assuming that's a bug and not supposed to happen. But I was like, oh, hey, that's cool. So I do fairly well with Emma here. I'm gonna tell you, I don't win this fight with Emma. I'm still trying to come up with maybe the best counters for him. Emma's a solid one. She does really well. Warlock is also another really solid option here. But so now I'm just going for this special too. I know I'm gonna die from recoil, so I just go ahead and launch it anyways. So now we're moving on to Nick, and I'm just gonna kill off Nick so I can get that extra attack. He is bleed immune, so it'll be fine. Like, I don't have to worry too much about it. Nick does fairly well. I mean, since he's bleed immune, with the bleed immunity right there, that's part of Apocalypse's whole shtick in the game, where if he gets a bleed debuff on him, then he becomes bleed immune. So now I'm not going to be doing as much damage with Nick as what I would have liked, but hey, it happens. So now I decided to come in with Warlock and just say, all right, let's go, techno-organic robot. Let's beat this guy down. So overall, like, Apocalypse isn't too bad. It seems like his special 2 is a little bit easier to dodge than his special 1. I'm still kind of adjusting to the timing on those specials. But overall, he's not a bad champ. He definitely has an easily interrupted heavy. So when he goes after the first hit off the heavy, you can move in and attack. So, but overall, I'm pleasantly pleased with how this Cavalier difficulty is. As I said before, it will probably, the harder pass, the boss will be easier than the mobs on the pass themselves. But anyways, guys, that's all that I got. Let me know in the comments below, what did you think of this brand new edition, Cavalier difficulty, the rise of X. What did you think of the bosses? Who did you find to be the most difficult boss, and who did you find to be the best counters? Do you like how the rewards are set up for the Cavalier difficulty, or do you think they should be set up differently? Let me know in the comments below and let's discuss. As always, guys, thanks so much for watching. If you guys liked what you saw and you want to see more, please remember to like and subscribe, follow me on Instagram and Twitter, and hit me up in the Discord chat. Thanks, guys. Bye.